Hey, Stargazers. So I'm literally just putting this here for documentation for myself. You don't have to pay attention. So I was thinking about Trump and these supposed diapers that he wears. I know, of all the things to think about. Long story. It was a long, winding road that led me here. So, do you guys remember, I'll go back and put it in the description box later, but last year or so, not that long ago, there was some major activity to his chart, and I thought there would be a health crisis, but clearly he's still alive, didn't go to the hospital, so it would appear on the surface that nothing happened. However, it has occurred to me that I would bet you dollars to donuts that man had a stroke. I'll bet you that man had a stroke. So here's why. One, you can have a stroke and have almost a complete recovery, and seem perfectly normal if it's a mini stroke, and also depending on what type of stroke it is and where it is. I know because I'm a living, walking example of this. But what I also know is that when you have a stroke, it affects your digestive system, right? So the transit time, I'm going to make a whole video about strokes for lay people so it makes more sense for them. But basically, the transit time through your digestive system has a lot to do with nervous system information and nervous system control of the peristalsis in the intestine. So if the transit time is too fast, food doesn't get digested correctly, and the smell is significant. Not to mention the fact that you're going to have trouble emptying out the chamber completely, right? So the thing about it is the only reason a grown man who's otherwise appears to be healthy and active would have trouble with his bowels for this long, remember, this is not sudden, this has been going on for a long time, is if he's got some type of intestinal disorder like colon cancer, right, or something else that would require wearing a diaper. Or if he has had a mini stroke and his intestines just never recovered completely from it. Which absolutely can lend itself to what they call incomplete evacuation or slight bowel incontinence. So the more and of course the other thing too that's interesting is that when you pass gas after a stroke, at least until your digestive system gets normalized again, it's bad. It's really bad. It literally smells like you pooped yourself. It's horrible because the transit time is too fast. So the ability for your body to deodorize this stuff is impaired, right? Yeah, literally the stuff we deal with in a healthy body is the deodorized version. I know. So I'm thinking that's everything. All of this sounds a lot like him, incomplete evacuation or some difficulty with bowel continence, without having colon cancer or something like that. And it's been going on for a long time. And, the smell, right, that apparently is really bad coming from him, right, which makes sense, right, if he's had mini strokes. And also, have you noticed that we're not seeing him stand or walk a lot? He's a very physically weak man these days. So, there's a lot to that. And we have seen evidence of him having difficulty with his gait, like losing his balance in his gait, which, for somebody in their 80s or 90s, we want to say, well, that's to be expected. But listen, let me tell you, I just got done working at a little senior center, right? And all the little ladies I work on, I do massage over there. All the little ladies I work on are in their 80s and 90s. And these are some robust, dynamic women that have no gait or dysfunction or issue. So just because you're in your 80s does not mean de facto that you're going to have gait, like walking and balance problems. It'll be more challenged, but it's not guaranteed that that's an automatic thing. So with him, with all of these things added up, I'm like, he's had a stroke. Now, the thing with strokes that you probably didn't know, because I didn't know either, is that if you've had one stroke, you are more likely to have another stroke and another stroke. Like these things, like waves in the ocean, they will build on themselves. So, and strokes will kill you, by the way. Strokes will kill you. So it is entirely possible that he's had mini strokes in the past that they know about, that we don't, which puts him at a disadvantage because he's more likely to have more serious, severe strokes if they happen again. And since strokes can kill you, and he's not a physically robust man. I mean, obviously, look at his fitness and his diet, right? This is not good. And that would also explain this urgency that came through when they started pushing all these tariffs and these ridiculous things with Musk. When this all started, that wave, that cascade of wave actions that occurred a couple months ago, when Venus and Neptune were together at 29 degrees Pisces. So the time sensitivity, the urgency to get it done before they lose their opportunity, that makes sense too. So, because if he's had multiple mini strokes up to this point, any stroke he has after this, if this is the case, could literally kill him. And they know that, which means they got to get it through now while they got the front man to take the heat for this and to get the support for it, right? Because, listen, you put freaking JD Vance up there, you're not going to get support for anything, right? And you put Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, up there, you're still not going to get any support for anything. So this is literally their one chance to push it through is while he's in office. But yeah, I'll bet you that man's had a stroke, multiple ones. And that means that there is the possibility with this eclipse coming up in March that will get set off again by July, right? Because summer is the hot spot for this. That he could have another stroke that they're not going to be able to hide. Interesting. So let's watch and see.